sent you an email, but we're going to be doing a bolster and 2 blocks, or just use a bunch of pillows and blankets and make it happen.
Got it. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to do a little setup, and then we're going to kind of keep the setup pretty much the same throughout the practice. I'll tell you when to move it. So we're going to take our 2 blocks and our bolster and set this up closer to the front of the mat, so closer towards me. You're going to place your blocks on either side, and then place your bolster on top of it, and try to get it kind of even. You can always rotate the blocks up and down based on what pose we're doing. So I started with my blocks on the medium setting. If you think that this would be more comfortable with them lower or higher at any time, you can always rotate them. And then we're just going to place our legs up and over this and come to our backs. So we have our little setup here. All right, so take your time, lower yourself back, get nice and cozy. And then go ahead and close your eyes. Nice. So either knees can be bent or legs can be long. So we're going to be keeping our eyes closed throughout the practice. If you haven't taken this class with me, we typically keep our eyes closed so that we can maintain the focus on ourselves. Just letting those eyelids close or coming to a nice soft gaze. I'll take a nice big breath in and a long breath out. Good. Take another big breath in and out. Allow yourself to just start to settle in. Whatever that means for you. Maybe that means getting a little more comfortable, maybe to shift a little bit from side to side, rock something out. Whatever settling in needs to happen. Dedication to your practice begins like planting a seed. You prepare, you make space, you set your alarm, and you show up. At first, you don't notice much, but slowly you begin to see the changes. You ache less, you have more energy, your posture changes. You can balance longer or fold a little deeper, and you begin to see the lessons from yoga in your life. That practice starts to seep its way into your work, your relationships, and your encounters. You become more flexible when things don't go your way. You accept the detours and the setbacks, and you remember to breathe before you act. You consider yourself before answering your questions. When a seed starts growing, it's underground and unseen, and your practice is the same. Although there is no flower yet, much is changing. Important roots are forming, ensuring a strong base. The process takes time. A flower does not bloom mere days after the seed is planted, and we accept this process of nature. We want immediate results. We cannot afford to waste time. We always want change now. Swami Kripalu states, patience is a key virtue on the path of yoga. It often eludes us because of its simplicity, yet it forms the foundation of a true yogi's practice. Patience might be simple, but it's not always easy. Anything meaningful and sustainable takes time. Allow your practice to grow today, from a simple seed to a breathtaking flower. Stay patient. Stay with your practice and yourself, And when the flower blooms, it will be all that much more special. Ready, we're going to bring the soles of our feet together and you can adjust this shape. So we're going to be in a reclining cobbler's pose, our Supta Baddha Konasana, with our legs elevated up on this shape. You can move the feet in closer towards the body or further away to find a deeper stretch through the inner thighs and the outer hips. And then we're going to find a mudra, which is a hand positioning. The one that we're going to come into today is called our Akash mudra. So you're going to take the tip of your thumb to your middle finger and extend the pointer finger, the ring finger, and the pinky finger. So it's going to look like this. And then just rest this with your back of your hand on the ground, the palms facing up. You can do this with both hands. This mudra works with the element of space, and it supports perspective, clarity, and honest communication. While you're holding on to this Akash mudra, just allow yourself to inhale slowly in through the nose. Feel the breath rising into the base of your neck. And then exhale. Allow yourself to settle in just a little deeper. Inhale in, feeling that breath rising. Exhale out. Maybe you feel the front of the chest or the belly just getting a little heavier as you exhale. Allow yourself to fully surrender into this pose. Create the space for release. This idea of surrender goes against many beliefs in our modern society. We're always told, never give up, push through at all costs. We've been fed this idea of action in order to produce results. And that surrender feels very weak or passive in comparison. Surrender does not mean admitting defeat or giving up. And it also doesn't mean that we stop taking action. Surrender is a loving and intentional way to offer up something to the greater good. We can release the outcome and our own expectations in order to receive all the gifts that are meant for us. Surrender is a practice in accepting that we don't know all the answers, and that's okay. We turn our problems over to fate, a higher power, our own energy, whatever we believe in. And surrendering actually becomes a very brave process. After so much striving, and sometimes at our lowest point, we finally relinquish control and we let go. Allow yourself to fully relinquish control in this pose. Work your way from your outer body in, that outer layer of physical body first. Letting go of any muscles that are still holding on. Letting go of any sensations that are coming through. And then peeling back another one of those layers and moving breath. Just letting the breath go, letting it find its own natural rhythm, knowing that it's perfect just the way it is. It doesn't need to change. And then you can move another layer deeper. This layer moves into the thoughts, seeing if we can create a little space in the thoughts. Maybe thinking about our thoughts like clouds and just letting them pass by, knowing that we don't have to chase after them. We can just observe them from afar. Our sky doesn't have to be perfectly blue and clear. There might be clouds today, and that's okay. We can just watch them. And then moving a layer deeper into that emotional layer. Letting go of any emotions that we may be holding about our thoughts, our bodies. Letting that go. Until we finally arrive at the very center, the core of ourselves. We sometimes call this our Anandamaya kosha. This is underneath all of those different layers of our onion. We peel those all back and we end up with that true self, the Atman. This is the center of your soul. All of those other layers cannot ripple to impact this center core of yourself. Let's see if the practice today we can allow ourselves to surrender fully into the very deepest parts of ourselves. When you're ready, we're going to slowly bring our knees together. Soles of the feet are up on top of the bolster and the blocks. And then you can just gently windshield with the knees from side to side. Just be careful about not knocking your shape over. When you're ready, gently roll your way over onto one side. And we're going to carefully press our way up into a comfortable seated position. Still keeping those eyes closed. You can blink them open to see where you are or to see where your props are. And then once you get seated, just close the eyes back down. Good. Lift up nice and tall. We're going to drop the chin in towards the chest. Roll the head from side to side. Right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Imagine this practice of rolling the head from side to side is like sweeping through the collarbones. We're clearing out stuck energy. We're letting things go. The opposite of surrendering is holding on tightly. So allow yourself to loosen up any stuck energy that may be along the heart, throat, any of these areas that we're moving when we roll our head back and forth. Any barriers that we may have built up along that heart space or even around that throat space of communication. Next time you roll that right ear over towards the right shoulder, take a pause and reach the left hand down towards the ground. And let's make a little more space along this side of the neck. Let's bring that left hand back in, drop the chin in towards the chest, roll the head to the other side, left ear to left shoulder, reach the right fingertips down towards the ground. Maybe walk the fingertips away from the body, just making a little more space between the earlobe and the hand. Walk the right hand in, drop the chin in towards the chest, just sway the head from side to side a few more times. And then when you're ready, drop the chin in, slowly pick the head back up to center, the nose is pointed forward. From here, we're gonna find a forward fold. So you can either slip your legs in between that space between your blocks and forward fold. You can also move this shape closer to the body. You can always rotate the blocks to make this higher or lower. Or if you feel like you don't want to go straight down forward, the legs can go on either side of this shape as well. So you can make more of like a V-shaped forward fold. Forward folds in our practice are more relaxing energy. So think about the poses that we do where we're forward folding, like our child's pose, even a standing forward fold. We'll reach the arms up towards the sky and then exhale, just find that forward fold. Make sure that the body's supported here. You can just hang the forehead forward, resting the forehead on your bolster, or you can always make this a little taller for yourself. Find something here that's comfortable. Notice where the body finds resistance in this pose. Maybe there's tightness along your jaw. Maybe there's tightness along the back of the head or the shoulders. As we stay in our pose and as we continue to breathe in and out, see if you can really embrace that surrendering. Even just thinking of that word, maybe repeating it to yourself, allowing that to be the mantra of the practice. Or if surrendering isn't the right word for you, you're always free to change it up. Maybe letting go feels better. Surrender doesn't need to be practiced only when we're at rock bottom. Often we need to be pushed to such a level of suffering in order to let go. But there are many things and many ways that you can surrender. We can accomplish our tasks, but with an attitude of surrender. You could have a very busy day, yet be completely unproductive. Likewise, you could have a very productive day with amazing outcomes without trying as hard. Allow yourself to fully surrender into this pose. Allow the attitude of this pose to be releasing and letting go. When you're ready, we're going to slowly lift ourselves up and out of this. You can slide your legs out from underneath this shape, and then we're just going to rotate so our left hip is up against the side of the bolster, so we're parallel with our bolsters. A couple of things you can do with your legs here. You can zigzag them. You could pull your right leg back so your left leg is kind of on top of it, just making this zigzag shape, or the knees can just be stacked. We're going to rotate so we're facing towards our bolster, and then we're going to go belly down. You can rest your arms and rotate your head. You could also rotate the head to the other direction if that feels more comfortable for the neck. So left hip is up against the bolster, knees are off to the side, and then we find that gentle twist. You can always make this higher or lower with your thoughts. So maybe think about this act of surrendering like a river flowing through the body. Over time, things can get stuck and built up. Sometimes rocks start to block some of that water from flowing freely. And the more that we slow down, the more that we acknowledge that we're rushing, we start to allow ourselves to move some of those blockages out of the way. Some of the rocks start to shift. The water becomes a little clearer, and things can flow a little more freely. That river within you runs clean, calm, and clear. It finds balance when the current is uninterrupted. It carries away what needs to be taken care of, and it releases what no longer belongs. Surrender allows some of the best parts of us, such as presence, joy, humility, acceptance, forgiveness, and gratitude, to rise up to the surface. When we surrender, we release the burden of trying to meet the ego's demand. Surrender brings us out of ourselves and into belonging. No longer are we alone in our effort. We let go and remain open to anything or anyone that arrives. We decide to stop fighting against, and instead we flip over and float. You're ready. We're going to gently lift ourselves up, and then we're just going to switch this to our other side. So you can either come through a tabletop and swing the legs over, or you can come along the back of the body and just kind of zigzag the legs over until your right hip is up against the bolster. This side might need something different than the other side, so you might need to make your shape taller or shorter. You're going to rotate so you're facing and then go belly down and support the upper body with the arms. Make a little pillow, rotate the head up either side. Often we are brought to a place of surrender because the practice is exactly what we need. We arrive kicking and screaming about something that's not going our way, and we've forgotten the power of rest and release. We have even forgotten the power in the force greater than us. Consider the delicious rest in a child's pose or the feeling at the end of a shavasana. These moments prove enlightening and necessary for the practice, and life is the same. We need some moments of pause and rest. If you feel like you're flailing, your footing can find solid ground in the surrender. When we sit still for the first time in a long time, and after the initial resistance, we usually settle ourselves in and think, wow, this feels pretty good. Surrender gives you that break. When you're ready, we're going to gently press ourselves back up. From here, we're going to take this entire Stonehenge thing that we've created. We're just going to pull this towards our body, towards the center of our mat. And then the next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to give two different options because I know everybody's bodies are a little different. Everybody has like different issues in their lower back. So the first option is that you can rotate your blocks so that they are on the flattest setting. Place the bolster back down horizontally. You're going to come to hands and knees, and then you're going to press the pelvis into the bolster. So come up and over, and then just rest down here. If you're like, that's not going to work for my low back, that's totally fine too. Find a child's pose with your arms extended on top of the bolster. So you can still keep the same shape, but just instead of going up and over. I like the belly down pose because I feel like it's a very physical embodiment of the word surrender. We're fully just letting go, letting the hips rise, letting that decompression happen in the spine. But I know that might not be right for everybody. All right, trying to move this around a little bit. So you may want to move forward or back. You might want the head more or less supported. You also might try this and be like, this is not going to allow me to fully let go, and that's totally fine. So you can switch this up, make this into a child's pose instead. Another option here is if the legs are long behind you, that's going to really stretch on the lower back. It might feel better for you to walk the knees in a little closer. You could always try that and see if that feels better for the low back. Our body at rest signals an offering, not only of the body, but of the spirit, to receive guidance, love, or healing. The body at rest says, take this from me because I can't take it any longer. And these are really powerful words. We all reach a point where we need to surrender our struggles, to set them down, and allow something else to take over so that we can rest and feel refreshed. When you're ready, we're going to slowly start to lift up and out of this. So hands can come to the floor. You can just kind of press your way back. Whatever you need to do to reset this, I invite you to do that. So if you need to press the hips back, if you need to kind of come forward, if you want to shake this out a little bit from side to side, just do whatever the body needs you to do. I know that's a pretty big stretch on the low back, so you might be looking for something different. And then when you're ready, we're going to set up our bolster ramp towards the front of the mat, so it's going to be closer to the front of the room. You can use both of your blocks, or you can just use one of your blocks, and just set this shape up. It can be higher or lower, so you can always rotate the block to make this higher or lower. And then once we get that set up, we're going to flip over. Low back comes up against the short edge of the bolster, and then lower yourself back. Make sure that the back of the head is supported, and then you can stretch the legs out long, or you can bend into the knees. Nice. So coming into our supported fish pose. Once you find a comfortable position for the lower body, let's all shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, roll the shoulders down and back. Just feel the wings behind the back of the body sliding down the bolster, just allowing the body to take on a little more surrender here, a little more heaviness on that bolster. If there's any part of the body that you feel like it's still trying to lift up or reach, see if you can just let that go. I wanted to share this reading with you. It's called Surrender, and it's by Rumi. Very little grows on jagged rock. Be ground, be crumbled, so wildflowers will come up where you are. You have been stony for too many years. Try something different. Surrender. If you'd like, you can come back to that mudra that we used in the beginning of the practice, the Akash mudra. So you take your middle finger to your thumb and extend your pointer, ring, and pinky, and just rest the back of the hands on the ground, palm facing up. Right in that spaciousness. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale long out of the mouth. Good. 2 more times. Breathe in through the nose. Exhale out of the mouth. Allow those breaths to be cathartic. Allow them to let go of something you've been holding on to. Allow your body and the muscles around it to relax. Let the muscles of your face soften. Cheeks, the jaw, maybe even the eyelids. Start to imagine a box or a container. You can let this container look like anything you want. It can be a vessel that you already own or something that you make up in your imagination. This box can have a lid, or it can be any shape. Now think of a conflict or a struggle or something that you're facing right now. Hold that conflict in your mind, and then carefully place that struggle into your container. And then again, think of another conflict and place that into your container. One by one, let every disturbance arrive and just place each one in your container. continue until that container holds everything, all of your heaviness, all of your burdens, all of the things that you wish to change. Observe your body now that all of your desires and conflicts are inside of this box. Imagine a beam of light pouring down from the sky and shining directly on your container. The container starts to move, carried up by the light, and eventually it's completely out of sight. Once the container is carried away, take a moment to notice how you feel. Is there anything in your box or container that you're relieved to have let go of? Let's place one hand over our heart, and then you're going to silently say this to yourself. I am safe. I am protected. And it's safe to let these things go. I am safe. I am protected. And it's safe to let these things go. I am safe. I am protected. And it's safe to let these things go. You can lower your hand down. Take a few moments of stillness in this supported fish pose. Ready, bend into the knees. Maybe windshield wipe them back and forth a few times. And then you can roll over to either side, push yourself up through table, and then come into a supported child's pose to use your bolster to support the front of the torso. The knees will be on either side of the bolster. Big toes will come together, and then just allow yourself to lower. You might choose to rotate the block so that this is taller or lower. You also could take the block completely out so that you can fully melt into the bolster. As always, there's no right or wrong way to make these shapes. We're bringing the poses to us. With a certain level of surrender, we also invite in acceptance. So letting go, accepting what is, and flipping over and just letting things happen. So I wanted to share this reading with you. It's called The Oak Tree. A mighty wind blew night and day. It stole the oak tree's leaves away. Then it snapped its boughs and pulled its bark until the oak was tired and stark. But still the oak tree held its ground, while other trees fell all around. The weary wind gave up and spoke. How can you still be standing, oak? The oak tree said, I know that you can break every branch of mine in two, carry every leaf away, shake my limbs and make me sway. But I have roots stretched in the earth, growing stronger since my birth. You'll never touch them, for you see, they are the deepest parts of me. Until today, I wasn't sure of just how much I could endure, but now I've found, with thanks to you, I'm stronger than I ever knew. Allow your own roots to grow in its pose. Allow yourself to fully let go so that you can fill yourself up with that strength, knowing that you have a firm foundation supporting you. That network of roots spreads out to all the other networks of roots. When you're ready, we're going to gently press ourselves up. You can move your block so that it's back underneath your bolster if you have removed it. We're going to come up into legs up the bolster, so we're going to be coming to our backs. Scooch the hips up against the edge of the bolster, send the legs up, and lower back. Another pose of just fully letting go, letting gravity do its thing. Good, not adding any layers here. From this pose, we're going to find a little acupressure point. This one's on either side behind the back of the ears in that indent. So take your pointer finger on both sides, press gently into that spot behind the earlobes, and just gently massage in small circles. This point helps to release jaw tension, it clears blockages in the throat. This helps to open up communication between the mind and the body so that we can fully release. When it feels right, you can just switch directions, circle the other way. And then we can let our hands come down by our sides. Happiness is like a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it will elude you. But if you turn your attention to other things, It will come and sit softly on your shoulder. Surrender is much the same. The more that we try to chase after it, the more that our mind tries to catch up. Move your attention out of the thoughts and trying to push away those clouds and back into the body or the breath. These are other tools that we have to allow ourselves to let go. Maybe moving into our final pose of the day. If you like this to be the shape that your final pose is in, your Shavasana, you can stay here. You could also add a blanket and make this more cozy for yourself. Or you could remove the bolster. You could rotate it so that it's horizontal and place it underneath your knees. You could also keep your Shavasana on your side or seated. Whatever makes this pose feel right for you. Once we get to that pose, let's all take a nice big breath in and a long exhale. One more time, big breath in through the nose. Let it all go. As you prepare to come back, notice what it feels like to return to letting go. For the entirety of this class, there is nothing to work on, nothing to improve, nowhere else that you needed to be. The body was allowed to rest. The breath was allowed to move on its own. When effort falls away, what remains does not disappear. it becomes easier for us to feel. Under all the layers of movement and thought and reaction, there is this steadiness within us. Surrender is not giving something up. It's allowing yourself to stop holding it all together. The rest that you found in your practice today is not separate from you. It's part of who you are. So as you leave your mat today, you may notice the noise return, but just know that there is this quiet place underneath all of that that you can come back to. This place is something that you've created within yourself. When you're ready, you can start to wiggle the fingers and toes, gently inviting movement back into the body. If you like, you can give yourself a big full body stretch and be pointing those toes forward, reaching the arms back depending on what position you chose. Let's hug the knees in towards the chest. We'll carefully roll our way over onto our right side. Taking a pause once we get here. Allowing this pause to set the pace for the rest of our week as we move our way into our weekend. Moving with stillness, clarity, and any inner wisdom that you may have gained from yourself during our practice today. Also allowing this pause just to set the pace until you meet again on our mats. When you're ready, you can go ahead and press your way up into a comfortable seated position, keeping your eyes closed, maintaining the stillness that we've created here today, all together. Let's sweep the arms down around up overhead, fingertips connect at the top, bend into the elbows, lower the hands down into heart center, and then plug your thumbs right into your heartbeat. We'll close this practice and seal it all up with our 3 deep breaths together. When you're ready, let's all take our first big inhale in. This one here is for you, for coming out and joining me, joining each other, showing up for yourself today, and all the good hard work that you've put into this practice. Take a second deep breath in. This one here is for someone who is personally close to you. This person may need this extra deep breath that you're taking for them today. Third and final big deep breath in. This one here is for all beings in the universe, no matter how big and no matter how small. May you be happy and peaceful. May you be safe and protected. May you be healthy and strong. And may you all be at ease. Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.